तवकतामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुविघ्नन्ति ये भूरिता जनः. Your elixir-like words destroy sin. They are uttered by sages. Those who spread thy words, O Lord, are the greatest benefactors in this world. We start a new series which will be held on every second and fourth Wednesday. It is, of course, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And the devotional teachings of Sri Ramakrishna are culled from the various teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, and we have put them into a sequence. This book, rather a booklet, has providentially come to me. I was searching through some of the old books belonging to Swami Bhaskarananda, and I found this book, and it struck me, oh my God, the perfect book. Now, I knew the Swami, and he was Swami Yatishananda, and no one took him seriously. He was such a jovial, nice Swami, and always, in a, as you say, mood that was bordered on sometimes levity. We never saw that gravitas, that seriousness. So we also never took him seriously. And when he had compiled this book, he has passed away, of course. And so I remember him giving it to me to proofread it. Not only that, and we are making fun of, who's going to read this? Who's going to want this to? And he was trying to have it published in various publication centers, and everybody is rejecting. This guy was never a scholar, never known to be serious, but that was only one side of him. We knew him then later. He was very, very profound. And I had also proofread this very perfunctorily, that is just casually. Because I still see a few mistakes, typos rather. However, this to finish off some of my karma, which was left unfinished, I decided to take this book. And so this bhakti aphorisms, Sri Ramakrishna always speaks about bhakti aphorisms like the Narad bhakti aphorism, the bhakti aphorism of Narada. These are the well-known ones. Then also there is something called the Chandilya, the Bhakti Sutras. They are also very famous. Now, within all this, Sri Ramakrishna was a world teacher. And why not bhakti aphorisms, devotional aphorisms about what he has said? So this book, as I mentioned, has extracted from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So it will be an extension of these gospel classes given by Swami Avikarananda into a little more depth. Without giving too much of an introduction here, we'll start with the first aphorism. those who are here, they have their printed copies. So the first chapter is the purpose of life. And this is very important also when you say the purpose of life. Sri Ramakrishna says, the purpose of life is to realize God. And he has reiterated this often in his teachings compiled in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So he, in his own words, Ishwar darshan hi jivaner uddesha. The goal of life is to realize God. Now, in the original, he has used the word darshan. The experience or the seeing of God. Now, the word God has been translated in a popular way that yes. But if you look at Ishvara, Ishvara in Vedanta, as we've been explaining it, is the sum total of all souls, and he is the cause of this universe. And this Ishvara dwells in each and every being. So that is Ishvara. So if you replace the word God, the purpose of life is to realize God, to see God. In the original it is to see God. Of course, realize. The word darshana also is to see. It's an old Sanskrit word and popular in the Indian vernaculars, but it is now also an Indian English word, darshan, to see. Darshan is to see, to experience. So, to see God is the goal of life. Uddesha, that is, see, nobody does anything without a necessity or a requirement or a plan. Nobody does things without any kind of motive. So, the goal of human life has to be now directed. It has to have a plan. It has to have a necessity. Darshan also is, as we know, all the Indian philosophies, they are said, oh, Indian philosophies. They are very loosely translated as philosophy. Darshan means to see. So Indian philosophies, when you say, oh, Vedanta is a philosophy. No, the orthodox view is the Vedanta, you can say, through which you can see, experience God. Darshana is to see. And that is, Sri Ramakrishna says, the goal of life. Now, saying, we don't even know what is life in its totality. If you could know, before we can go into this discussion. So the goal, the moment you say the goal of, the purpose of life is to realize God, you project it outside. And this has constantly harassed all seekers of liberation or devotees or everything. The mind projects, and that is what the mind is. It projects itself outside. So the idea is, oh, you've got to go for a long way, maybe 500 miles, maybe 1,000 miles, maybe 10,000 miles, who knows? No. Now, if the mind can project it outside, it also has the capacity to project it inside. If it is like this, it can do it. So this is the doctrine of, as they say, projection or superimposition. A goal, yes, outside. Nah. It's inside, here. And now when we discuss the purpose of life, what is this life? Yes, this life, but with a small, you can say, condition or a caveat of your meta life. Not this life that we know it as. This normal, the physical and mental configurations that lead you here and there. That's not life. That everybody does it. What makes the distinction between a life that is purposefully directed towards God, Ishvara? You'll have to have, when you have a lofty view of life, your values automatically change. If you don't have those values, don't cultivate those values, the life, that meta life is now over for you. I mean, it's a closed door. Then this life becomes important. Now, when you're talking about life, okay, what is life? Life is conscious. Where do you go to search for this God, Ishvara? Oh, as the Bhagavad Gita says, Ishvara sarva bhutanam. Ishvara dwells in all beings. Where? The Bhagavad Gita, Hrideshe, in the heart. Now, not in this physical heart. The spiritual heart, the very core of your being, Ishvara. And that's why it is called a spiritual heart. Your being is spiritual. Your very foundation is spiritual. But because we have projected the mind outside, it looks at material objects and has forgotten that. So, how does Ishvara, God, exist in all beings? Has he become so many parts? And Ishvara, a God of many parts, is no God at all, according to Vedanta. They will say a God that can be parceled and packaged in everything makes no sense. That kind of God is mutable. And we want a God that's immutable, that's infinite. Yes. So that infinity, that immutability resides there. In what form? In the form of consciousness. Because we are conscious here, and because it has been projected outside, it is getting filtered through the senses, through the brain, through various cultures and ideologies and ideas and impressions, so that consciousness becomes kind of distorted and appears material. So this life becomes material. Birth and death becomes facts. We don't see the higher aspect of life, that it is beyond birth and death. Consciousness can never die. It is the eternal subject. And there are many subjects here. No, Vedanta says we cannot have too many subjects. Yeah, we'll fail in the examinations. We'll just have one subject. Concentrate on that. And that one is Ishvara, God. So Sri Ramakrishna is laying down the very first, you can say, what is the purpose of life? It is to see God, to see Ishvara. Now, nobody has told us this when we were young. Nobody told us. Our parents, our teachers, and society, and everywhere we went, they gave us different ideals of life. You have got to be happy. Really. Which life was ever happy? Continuously happy? Is this a pursuit of happiness? And there are so many books written on the pursuit of happiness and the pursuit of wellness and pursuit of this, free from pain and misery. No, that can never be. Whichever life, whether you have maybe $1 trillion, maybe $1 billion, million, maybe you have $10, life is like that. There's a plan of life. You will suffer misery there, you will suffer misery here, you will suffer. So the pursuit of life for happiness and wellness and well-being, forget this. Here he says, he doesn't even discuss this life. What kind of life? So when you have a life, you have a conception of life that's abstract right now. It has to be kind of made concrete into a form. Now that form is in your heart. It is God. So that's why he's saying, Ishwar darshan hi jivane ruddesha. That is, the purpose of life is to realize God. It's not to have a continuation of life, happy life, and I want to live long. The pursuit of people have been pursuing happiness since maybe 150,000 years, or maybe 200,000 years. We wanted happiness. And when we were in those early years, that is humanity, if we had enough to eat or drink, we were happy. And now we have enough to eat and drink, and yet we are not happy. We have departed so much away from what our predecessors thought about happiness. We have a small house, you have a nice roof, you have food, and that's what more do you want? But when they looked around at all living beings have that same idea, let me be happy. This is the lowest form of life. Eat, drink, sleep, and you can say, what is the fear, etc. So this is the lowest, which is common to all beings, all living beings. All living beings. Shankaracharya in his great commentary says, it's wherever there's life, there's always, they say, the avoidance of pain. That is what, okay. And the seeking of happiness. So this thing, it's called in Vedanta psychology, raga and dvesha. Avoidance, recoiling, and getting attached to it. So this attachment is towards happiness or towards safety, towards life free from fear. That can never happen. So your real happiness, and that's what the Vedanta says, your real happiness is in this pursuit and this realization. And as I said, we always try to project things outside. We have projected that real search for happiness, which is God, outside into objects. And so objects have become important to us. This object, that object will give me happiness. Then we find out that was never the case. So in this first chapter, first section, the purpose of life, he sets forth this plan. Why is this? In all the scriptures, they follow this pattern. The goal has to be stated first. They don't beat around the bush, as I said. What's the goal? Here it is. Oh, and in the subsequent sections, you will find, again, giving us the means, how to realize this goal, this idea there. So first is had to be stated. So your life with all these various ideas and ideals, they are supposed to be a scaffolding for you to enter into your own meta life, into your own meta mind. Meta is kind of, it's a kind of self-referral. You don't have to refer it to anything else. You have to refer it to your own life. Oh, and it means, what happens? You don't compare your life with others' life. This is also, in Vedanta, this becomes the linchpin, as they say. You went around looking at people and comparing yourself with others. Stop that. You start now comparing your life with yourself, with your higher ideal. Then you're on the right track. So people have different karmas. They have come with different karmas. And they're performing different karmas. They will be led to different acquisitions and successes. You don't have to be like that. Think of yourself as different from them, yes, but unique also. Your life is not their life. There are some common traits. Yeah, but your life is your life. Only we know our own lives. No one else can. And nobody can ever in the future. You know your life. And we play the game. Yeah, this is me. Okay, yeah. So that's the reason why I use the word meta life. Yeah, it refers to yourself. So this life is conscious. This is the greatest gift. In the Vedanta, they say these three things are extremely difficult and are acquired by the grace of God. A human body, the desire for liberation, and the help of a sage. This is in Vivek Chudamani. Let me not go into that Sanskrit. Keep it nice and simple. So these three things, the human body, the desire for liberation, and the company or the association of a sage or a guru, this is extremely. So you already have something which has been difficult to acquire. Now you have acquired it. Now what do you do about it? Nothing. Nothing. It's like you've won a lottery and then you take a lottery and you destroy it. This should give us this idea that life is very precious, very valuable. Maybe not to others, but at least to you. And oh, my work is not valued. My love is not valued. What? You've put a value on material, you can say, attainments or successes, all this, and oh, I'm feeling so bad. Nobody respects me. Nobody loves me. Start understanding yourself, giving value to yourself. So the parameters set by society, let it be for others. For spiritual aspirants, once you know, they say, once you know what resides within you, you will never be the same again. Yes. So it's not just flesh and bone or some old thoughts or memories. No, that's just on the exterior. Deep down, there's gold hidden. Sri Ramakrishna, one time when he had gone to Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he was a great scholar, philanthropist, etc. He was one of the great leaders of society. So he was busy with hundreds of things. So Sri Ramakrishna says, all these works are initiated or impelled by sattva, which is very good. Sattva guna, that's. But he doesn't know there's a gold hidden within him. So even sattvic work has to be understood as outside the realm of spirituality. It will lead you to spirituality. Yes, that's true. But even at that point, so one has to transit from the tamas, the lowest state, indolence, hate, etc. And then to rajas, to activity, to passions, to etc. Then up to sattva. So when the body and mind is sattvic, and it doesn't remain constantly, only in the higher reaches of spiritual life, you have a constant sattva guna. So, but you become predominantly sattvic. So you will get joy in even the smallest things. You will be free from pretensions. You will be free from hypocrisy. Then you become translucent, you become transparent. People talk about there should be transparency. Yes, we also agree. Especially Vedanta, we are all for it. There should be transparency in society, transparency in this, transparency. Yes. So Vedanta becomes sattvic. If you're tamasic and then you're saying you have to have transparency, you're going to fool yourself and you're going to take others also for a ride. So this, once the mind has become sattvic, you become transparent, translucent. You don't suffer from wants or depression or stress or anxiety. That is not the qualities of sattva guna. Never. That's light and joy and happiness, the spiritual happiness, not material happiness. I have to constantly now I've got to define happiness. Then you understand, oh, this precious life has to be made more precious, a spiritual pursuit. And people initially, oh my God, it takes so long. No doubt about it. But if you're alone, it'll take a long time. But here you have that which you are pursuing is also drawing you to it. That's called a grace. The very understanding that the goal of my life is to seek God, the purpose of life is to realize God. It's the first, you can say, shower of grace on you. And that grace lifts you up and draws you in. So you're not alone. Because we think, oh, God is something static, some neutral object, something that is distant, far away from our struggles. And no. That consciousness, that God, is intimately connected with each and everything you do. Yes. That God, Ishvara, is not something far away, or he's there down deep inside. Can't see him. We need some, you can say, all these microscopes. You'll have to go down to the nanoscales, and even if you go down to the nanoscale, you cannot see that. What's that? Where is that? Here, you will see it has spread itself out in your thoughts, words, and deeds everywhere. It is there. But it's like a light that is lit in a room. The light may be in one place located, but its light is everywhere. Similarly, all our activities are guided by that light of consciousness, that God within. And the moment you take one step towards God, as Sri Ramakrishna says, God takes 10 steps towards you. Meaning, He is now dragging you in, hauling you in. That is grace. So let grace take over. This is also important because people say, oh, Holy Mother also says, you think your japa and meditation, to that you realize God? You can realize God only through God's grace. This is just to work out your karmas, to give you an orientation to put you in. So your might and main, yes, let's do it. 15, 16 hours a day I will do japa. I will not get up from my seat. Yeah, do it. But you bring in the idea of God as active in your life. Then it becomes very easy. You are not alone. And we are never alone. This is one of the things that we are never alone. We are always with God. Oh my God, He's looking at everything. Yeah, He looks at everything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Because He knows it is His creation or her creation. It's His creation. It doesn't matter. He knows everything. Otherwise, what kind of God is He? He has to know everything. Does He get angry? No, He doesn't get angry. Or she doesn't get angry. Then, oh, that God, the purpose, God loves you. Oh, really? Even with all these problems? Yeah. That is the overriding essence of spiritual life. And that's why they say, wherever there's life, wherever there's consciousness, you will find love there. It has to. So Ishvara, God, is the source of your consciousness, which is the source of your life, which is also love. Now you can understand yourself a little more better. Okay, I was looking at models and rich people and this and that, and I was trying to compare myself. I need to go on a diet. I need to do this. I need to go to an outfitter. I need to go this. Quiet. Spiritual life is you accept yourself because God has already accepted you, what you are. Don't go about tom-tomming. Oh, I've got this problem, that. I'm weak in this, I'm weak in that. Keep quiet. Sri Ramakrishna never liked anybody. Oh, I'm a sinner. What? When there was a book read in front, before Sri Ramakrishna, yeah, I'm a sinner, and this and that. Stop. Close that book. Saying the wretch that thinks of sin becomes a sinner, verily a sinner. Think that you're a child of God. Swami Vivekananda, in his first, you can say, his opening speech at the Parliament of Religions in 1893 in Chicago, he's saying, sinner? The Hindu refuses to call you sinner. Ye are the children of immortal bliss. Allow me, brethren, to call you by that sweet name, children of immortal bliss. This is what you are. So nobody told us, but now I'm telling you, this idea has to now be, like Sri Ramakrishna liked to give the example of a cow chewing the cud. So you take in and then ruminate over it. And as you ruminate, you will find you've been able to digest that. What the cow eats, you cannot digest. You don't have the stomach for cellulose. But give it time, ruminate, bring it out, ruminate over and over, then you'll digest. So this idea has to be imbibed, and it will sink inside. And it will, as Swami Vivekananda says, sleeping soul will awake. Now, when you say the purpose of life is to realize God, okay, now this life, this is what we know. But this life itself has been the result of many, many, many things. That's another compartment which is more or less, we don't need to know. This life is a result of many lives. I didn't want to bring this up, but then you can take it or leave it. This life, you have acquired it through much struggle. You have gone through many lives, and you have come here. Now that you have come here, realize God. If only we knew. But that is Maya. But that also, Maya is not something which is different from God. Like I'm wearing a shirt, it becomes mine. So Ishvara's powers are also called Maya. The other day we were reading the Bhagavad Gita. This is quoting, this, my Maya, is divine, made up of the qualities, and which is difficult to cross. But those who take refuge in me cross this ocean of Maya easily. It's a very famous Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Ya Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Those who take refuge in me, God, Ishvara, will easily cross over. This becomes the goal of life. I took a little extra time in explaining this because Sri Ramakrishna's words, they may look simple, but they are very profound. So I'm just laying down the foundation, the structure, so then we can ascend. It won't be so long as I've taken this. This is the opening verse, opening aphorism, and it's necessary for us to understand this very thing. So before we leave, as I mentioned, the second and the fourth Wednesday is Sri Ramakrishna's devotional teachings. The first and the third will be the readings of the Gospel by Swami Avikarananda. Thursday, Swami Brahmatmananda gives an online class talk on Towards the Goal Supreme. Friday, we have a study group called Self-Knowledge, Friday, 7 p.m. And then Saturday, we have Karma Yoga, Seattle, 10 a.m. Sunday, we have Mother's Children and Sri Chaitanya, his life and teachings. And Sri Chaitanya was one of the incarnations. So he was called the God of Love. So his birthday comes on Friday actually, called Dol Purnima. They play Holi and colors. So we are going to look at his life and what he was and what his contribution was. Sunday also then, 7 p.m. we have Ram Naam. We begin once again. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.